Happy Halloween, everybody. Welcome to SI Winners Club. We are giving you nothing but treats in this week 8 on the NFL. I am Bill Enright. I got to take this mask off. I can't do the whole show with the mask on. It's a little ridiculous. I see Michael Fabiano is with us, dressed as an awesome Cowboys player. Jen Piacenti looking like a very elegant uniform. How you guys doing? Welcome to Sunday. Happy Halloween.
She's the fantasy unicorn.
I'm the fantasy unicorn. This is the most ridiculous hat, but hey, listen, if you're not going to take advice from people that clearly live in a fantasy, then you're doing it wrong.
And by the way, this is not Cole Beasley. It's Danny White. Don't get it twisted.
Very nice, very nice. So here's what we're going to do today. We're going to help everyone with their fantasy football lineup. So if you're watching us on YouTube, if you're watching us on Twitter, send us your questions. You can put it in the chat room. We'll answer all your questions throughout the show. We'll also get to the injury report. There's a lot of big names on the injury report, including some surprise inactives. So if you ask us your question, we will get to your lineups. And we also have Jen Piacenti's best bets. She has been 69% heading into week 8. So we're helping a lot of people profits. But let's start with that injury report because there are a few key players out. Jen, who you got your eye on?
At quarterback, Tyrod Taylor will not be starting today. You're going to get another week of Davis Mills. Running backs, we're missing Saquon Barkley, Miles Sanders, Tevin Coleman, and Jamal Williams. Go DeAndre Swift. And wide receivers, no Calvin Ridley. I repeat, no Calvin Ridley today. No Antonio Brown, Julio Jones, Kenny Galladay, Curtis Samuel, or Corey Davis. And finally, of course, tight end Dawson Knox will be out today.
All right, in terms of the players that are in, we got a couple of them coming off that injury report, including some key running backs.
Yes, some key running backs. DeAndre Swift, who should have a good game today. We're going to talk about him later in the player props. Nick Chubb, Austin Eckler, and Alex Collins. Baker Mayfield will play. I understand he's going to have some kind of a device on his shoulder. Maybe that's his Halloween costume. Jerry Jeudy back from the IR in a great matchup. Devonta Parker, Odell Beckham Jr., and T.Y. Hilton. 3 guys that could change how you set your lineups. Those are very important actives.
I said we'd get to some of your questions. We have a major question mark around the Cowboys quarterback, Dak Prescott, and that's the first question we're going to address today. Fabs, it doesn't sound good about Dak's calf, right? We're expecting Cooper Rush to play. Is there a scenario where you're risking starting him today?
No, I mean, I have Dak all over the place. Like, literally, I have 14 leagues, and I have Dak in 7 of them. In the leagues that are 2 QB leagues, I picked up Cooper Rush because, like, there's nothing on the waiver wire, and I want to start a quarterback there. And I don't think Cooper Rush is Geno Smith bad. I guess we're going to find out. But other than that, like, unless you have Kirk Cousins or Daniel Jones, you got to play it safe. Like, I'm playing Carson Wentz over Dak Prescott in one of my leagues. I have to. I am not thrilled about it, but I have to. I like the matchup for Carson Wentz. But if Teddy Bridgewater's out there, if Wentz is potentially out there, if you have Ryan Tannehill, then you got to play it safe because Cooper Rush took all the first-team snaps in practice. Dak took some in the walkthroughs. But when you hear Mike McCarthy come out and talk about how, you got to talk about this in terms of the season and not one game, the Cowboys are 5-1. The rest of the defense is trash. So if you give Dak another week, it's not going to hurt you really that much in terms of where you are. You're still going to be the first-place team in the NFC East. I would be really surprised if Dak Prescott is actually able to go. And also remember, the line moved from like -1.5 favoring the Cowboys to now the Cowboys are a 3-point dog. And, Vegas, they have those big casinos and a lot of fancy stuff because they make money. They know what they're talking about.
Jen, what are you doing with guys like Amari Cooper, CeeDee Lamb, Dalton Schultz without Dak Prescott in the lineup?
I'm starting them. I mean, unless I have some really, really other amazing option. I mean, we're talking about Dalton Schultz. I mean, I suppose you could go out and try to pick up, say, Mo Alley Cox for today. But really, I would rather have Dalton Schultz. There is still the chance that Dak plays. And I can't sit CeeDee Lamb and Dalton Schultz and Amari Cooper unless I have really other viable options. Like if you have Jerry Jeudy coming off the IR, then you might want to, someone like that. But otherwise, I'm still playing my Cowboys receivers. Just depends on the situation. But, that's what we're here for. So if you have that specific question, let us help you answer it.
I think a couple of people are shell-shocked about the Calvin Ridley news this morning. I know we're getting a lot of questions on Twitter. If you're watching on YouTube, you can absolutely put your questions into that chat room on YouTube as well. Let's get to some of your start and sit questions for week 8. We're going to help you win your matchups. Let's look at one of these questions about Calvin Ridley. Now that he is out, who are some of the wide receivers that this gentleman can play instead? Either Brandon Cooks, Tyler Lockett, and then he also has a flex question about Antonio Gibson or Zach Moss. Fabs, for the receivers, who are you replacing Calvin Ridley with for our guy Hidalgo here?
Yeah, I'm going Brandon Cooks. I don't trust Tyler Lockett. Well, actually, I don't trust Geno Smith. So I'm not going to go there. I'd rather have Brandon Cooks. Even though, I mean, like, it's Davis Mills. He's not any good either, but at least, that's the one guy that he's going to throw the football to more often than not. And, like, the Gibson Moss, that's a tough one. I'm probably going to go Gibson here because he's going to get the touches, but you're always – let's put it this way. If you feel like your team is pretty solid and you're going to be able to beat your opponent, I'd play it safe. I'd go with Gibson. If you feel like you're a underdog based on the team that your opponent has and you want to go with a higher upside play, and Moss would probably be that play against the Dolphins. So it really depends on, what your opponent is, what your roster looks like. Gibson's going to come with risk, it seems, every single week.
All right, some other questions that we were getting from Twitter. Jerry Judy, Jen, you mentioned that he is back from that injured reserve list. And Fabs, you mentioned that number 11 is not a Cole Beasley jersey, but our friend Bearded Beardman wants to know, should he start Jerry Judy or Cole Beasley today in the PPR league? Jen, what do you think?
I would start Jerry Judy. Cole Beasley's still, at least number 3 in targets. And I know that the Bills are heavily favored here, but the Washington defense is just so easy to throw on. They're pretty much the easiest matchup for quarterbacks. So Teddy Bridgewater is probably going to be able to find Jerry Judy today, even on limited snaps. So I like Jerry Judy here.
And then we have a question from Max. He wants to know if you should start Leonard Fournette, who's been a top 10 running back the last couple of weeks, or Robert Woods, who was a good matchup today against the Texans. Fabs, what do you think?
I'm going to go with Fournette here. Fournette's been so good. I mean, and Robert Woods I'm playing Robert Woods over Damian Harris in one of my leagues, but I would not play Woods over Fournette. He's just been an absolute force. The matchup's not great against the Saints, but Fournette, I'm not going to call him a must start. He's pretty darn close, though.
Let's go to YouTube, where Tansbar has a question about a tight end spot. He's got TJ Hawkinson up against the Eagles or CJ Uzomah. I think he has 5 touchdowns in his last 2 games. Uzomah has been incredible with the Bengals. Good matchup today against the Jets. Jen, which tight end do you like?
I'm going Hawkinson. He also has a fantastic matchup if you look at the matchups. So I have to go Hawk. And we have to remember that Hawk is really a top target for Detroit. They're not going to be able to get, big shots downfield, probably. It's Jared Goff. So Hawk is the way to go for me.
And then Jason wants to know, he's hearing all the rumors about Dak Prescott not playing or expected not to play in Sunday night. So does that mean, does he bench Amari Cooper for a guy like Emmanuel Sanders? Fabs, what do you think of that?
Absolutely. I feel like I'm betraying the Cowboys nation because I'm dressed up like a dork and I'm saying to sit a Cowboy. But I would, and Emmanuel Sanders is a safer play. And by the way, I interviewed Josh Allen on my SiriusXM show, and I also interviewed him for SI. You're going to be able to see that this upcoming week. He plays fantasy football, and guess who's on his fantasy team? Emmanuel Sanders. Start him.
Gosh, that was a great interview. And again, you can check that out on SI.com. That'll be out Monday morning. Great interview. And it's awesome to hear a guy like Josh Allen still plays fantasy football. I was surprised, though, that he does not have himself on his own fantasy team.
Well, because he auto-drafted, and one of his teammates got him, and he's been trying to trade for himself now. But it hasn't. I should have asked him what he's offering for himself, right? Like, is he trying to lowball his teammate, even though he's trying to trade for himself? I'm not really sure, but he's got Dawson Knox and Emmanuel Sanders, and they're both pretty good, right? I mean, Knox is out. We're not going to be able to play him this week. He's inactive, but he was like having a breakout season before. I wonder if there's any coincidence with that, Bill Enright and Jen Piacenti. I don't know.
Yeah, we should find out every year when quarterbacks have an auto draft who ends up in their tight end position and then go draft that guy.
Yeah,
I did offer to draft
that
for
could
him
be a very
next
good
year.
strategy.
Let's
go over to Fabiano's original Stardom Sit 'em. Fabs, let's talk about these quarterbacks. We got Kirk Cousins in action tonight, Sunday Night Football against your Cowboys, and then Joe Burrow has been red hot going up against a really bad, lousy New York Jets defense.
Again, I mean, I feel weird, but I mean, Kirk Cousins, I mean, really good matchup, right? I mean, the Cowboys defense has been good in real football, but they can be had by quarterbacks. And so Kirk Cousins is a very good play. And so is Joe Burrow. The last two quarterbacks the Jets have faced, both thrown for over 300 yards. And the Jets, sorry, folks, they're just not very good. The quarterbacks that I am sitting, Sam Darnold, you want to talk about not very good? Look at his numbers over the last 3 weeks. And, you know, he's seeing ghosts again. Haha, funny, it's Halloween. Anyways, the matchup's great, but Sam Darnold has not been. And then Tua, we told you to play Tua. I look stupid in this helmet, man. I got to, like, put it down. Now I look like Lucas. Remember that movie, right? Lucas, the kid who was trying out for the football team. And, yeah, anyways, the helmet's a little too big. But Tua, who we loved last week, we told you to play him. I don't love him today against the Bills. I mean, they have been one of the best defenses in the National Football League at stopping quarterbacks. And the last time they played the Miami Dolphins, Jen, what was the score? 35-0? It wasn't
like
good
was
for your Dolphins.
I want to also say, just to piggyback on the Joe Burrow, Dak Prescott conversation, which is going to probably be a lot of this live stream, check out my article on player futures on Sports Illustrated, because if you had put money on Joe Burrow 2 days ago, plus 650 for comeback player of the year, where Dak was minus 350. Now he's plus 500. And I'm sure they're looking at the fact that maybe Dak is injured. Maybe he's not going to finish the season. Jump on it now while you're still getting plus money for Joe Burrow. It's a good bet.
You know, it's interesting because Dak was like the heavy favorite heading into the season on that. And I don't think a lot of people even gave any credence to Joe Burrow. So that's a really good call out, Jen.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully people were able to lock in plus 650 instead of plus 500. But hey, we'll take that bet either way.
Yeah, but Dak Prescott is still minus 300. He's still the favorite. I think he probably still wins this award. But listen, as far as value, there's no value in that bet.
Fabs, one of the commenters on YouTube is saying that you look like that kid from the Little Giants.
Yeah, but I look like whatever the dorky kid in a movie that wore a helmet that was too big for him. That's me. That insert Fabs there. But Lucas, remember, I think it was Corey Haim. He was Lucas. He was trying to play on the football team.
I love
the girl. Remember that?
I remember the Corys, but more like License to Drive, not so much the football movies.
Let's go to your stardom Sid'em running backs. You have interesting choices this week, and I love that you go out so far outside the box. Eli Mitchell, KHALIL Herbert are your starters. Myles Gaskin, Melvin Gordon are your sits.
Yeah, Mitchell's been good. I mean, he's the number one guy there in San Francisco's backfield. We've seen that over the last couple of weeks. Trey Sermon, I mean, he's waiver wire fodder at this point. So I would play him against the Bears. The Bears will not have Khalil Mack in this game. And then speaking of the Bears, KHALIL Herbert, who's been like KHALIL Herbert, when David Montgomery comes back, he's still going to get touches. He looks really, really good. Damian Williams, they barely used him last week. So start him against the Niners. My Sid'em running backs, Myles Gaskin, who, believe it or not, has scored 17-plus points in 2 of his last 3 games. But against the Bills, I'd probably flex him at best, and that's it. And then Melvin Gordon, over his last 3 or 4 games, 9.1 points per game. He's splitting the workload with Javonte Williams. In Washington, they've been terrible against the pass, but they're only averaging 71 rushing yards per game, the running back, so far this season. So Gordon would be a fade for me or a high-risk flex player.
All right, for your wide receivers, you're eyeing up Courtland Sutton and Michael Pittman, who had a big game against the 49ers, looks to continue that train, that momentum going. I know Jen has Pittman in a few of her fantasy leagues. And then for your wide receivers, Jalen Waddle and Allen Robinson. Robinson has to be one of the most disappointing players in all of fantasy this year.
Yeah, and it's not his fault. I mean, it's not like he, isn't talented. The Bears just are not a good team, right? Justin Fields looks like a deer in the headlights. He's been struggling to throw the football accurately, and that was one of the things coming out of Ohio State that he actually was good at. He was an accurate quarterback, but it hasn't worked out. And by the way, anybody out there can name me the best Ohio State quarterback to play in the National Football League. I love those trends. And you know who it is? It's Mike Tomczak. Statistically, he's the best. So Justin Fields, I mean, if you continue to struggle, you're going to just be put on that list of former Buckeyes quarterbacks who floundered in the National Football League. Yeah, if you have Robinson on your roster and you're in a smaller league, I could see cutting him at this point. I mean, it's 7 weeks now. It's not like it's a small sample size.
Jen, I know Pittman's your guy.
Yeah, I love Pittman, and Pittman's in such a good spot today. You know, we got the Tennessee Titans secondary who like apparently can stop everyone, you know, except, Patrick Mahomes is the only person that can't beat the Tennessee Titans secondary. So go figure. Everybody else should be fine. I love Carson Wentz. I think he's a start this week. I'm using him in my DFS lineups. Now, T.Y. Hilton is back. So there is a possibility, feeling a little less confident about the huge day Pittman might have, but still feel confident with the player prop we're going to give you later. I think Michael Pittman's going to have a very good day today.
We'll get to the player props in just a bit. Let's finish off with Fabs' stardom situm. We're going to the tight ends. Fabs, you got Dalton Schultz here. Are you still confident in him even without Dak?
Less confident? Yes. But Cooper Rush is an inexperienced quarterback. He's thrown 3 more passes in the National Football League than I have. That's not a lot, all right? But what would the safety blanket be? Maybe it's the tight end. Maybe it's Dalton Schultz, right? So I still have him in my top 10, but he's certainly not as attractive without Dak Prescott. And then Hunter Henry, revenge game against the LA Chargers, and the Chargers have not been good against tight ends. Jonnu Smith is banged up. So Hunter Henry, 4 touchdowns over his last 4 games, a touchdown per. First Patriots tight end to do that since Rob Gronkowski, who, oh, by the way, folks, I know you probably have him in your lineups. There have been reports earlier today. Rick Stroud, who covers the Buccaneers, says that Rob Gronkowski is no lock to play in this game. So make sure you have an alternative just in case.
All right, we got a couple of questions from Twitter. Jen, it sounds like we have to help this person set their whole lineup. They have a flex question, a tight end question, and a wide receiver question. Let's start with the flex. Darrell Williams or Chuba Hubbard? Who do you got?
Darrell Williams.
All right, Fabs for tight end. Conklin, Ricky Seals-Jones, or Jared Cook?
I'm going to go Seals-Jones in this one.
And Jen, we'll go back to you for her wide receiver question. Emmanuel Sanders, or Devonta Smith?
It's a really tough one, but I'm going to go Sanders. I think Devonta Smith is in a great matchup, but it just makes me a little more nervous. I feel like Sanders is a little bit more reliable.
All right, that was from A Girl Has No Tweeter Name. Let's keep going with the questions from Twitter. A flex question and a tight end question. It's a standard league. CJ Uzomah is going to be a hot commodity on Jen's waiver article the last couple of weeks. Khalil Herbert, Dalton Schultz, or Jarvis Landry. 1 tight end, 1 flex. Jen, what do you think?
I'm going to go Khalil Herbert for your flex. Okay. And then I'm going to go, we have to do a tight end. I'm going to go Schultz over Uzomah. And here's why. Uzomah sees less than 10% of the team's targets. That is not a lot. He sees less than 3 targets per game on average. Now, we've seen him have 2 big games, 90 plus yards, 2 touchdowns. Could he have one? Sure. But he could also give you a big fat goose egg. Schultz is going to get targets. So I think we're going to go with Schultz here. Now, I know it's a standard league, so a little bit more risky, but I just think Schultz might have more opportunities, as Fabs mentioned. Again, if it is an inexperienced quarterback, he's likely to go to that tight end position.
All right, we got a flex question, and it involves one of Fabiano's stardoms for the running back spot. Eli Mitchell or Jarvis Landry for the flex for our friend David watching?
I'm going Eli Mitchell all day long. Jarvis is a decent option, but I'm going to go with the running back here. I think Mitchell has a good game.
All right, time to get some money betting on SI Sportsbooks, thanks to Piacenti's player props. And we also have a boosted option from Fabiano that we'll talk about as soon as Jen runs through the player props. Let's look at this Eagles and Lions game. Jen, you're looking at both of the running backs in action.
I am looking at both the running backs in action. The first one I'm going to look at is Kenneth Gainwell, over 31.5 rushing yards. Now, of course, we don't know how they're going to deploy Boston Scott, Kenneth Gainwell, a whole trio of running backs, but he's averaged 4.6 yards per attempt, and Detroit has allowed an average of 106 rushing yards per game. So even if Gainwell sees 50% of the carries, he should be able to easily meet this mark. And in week 1, when he had 9 attempts versus Atlanta, he went for 37 yards. So I like it, over 31.5 rushing yards. And on the other side of this game, I want to look at DeAndre Swift, but for his receiving yards prop. I mean, the man has been phenomenal. If you have him in PPR, you're just laughing all the way because it's such a fun ride. He has become one of Jared Goff's favorite targets. Well, the way to beat Philadelphia is with short passes. You know, Goff is going to be happy to oblige that way of attack. So Swift should beat this mark. He's done it in 4 of 7 games played, over 46.5 receiving yards for DeAndre Swift.
All right, then the other option that you like, we talked about him a little bit earlier from the wide receiver standpoint, that's Michael Pittman Jr., and you're looking at his receiving total.
Yeah, his receiving total is over 64.5. You know, it's a little bit beat up receiving core. I know that T.Y. Hilton is back, but he still might be a little bit limited. He was the last time he came back. He was on a bit of a limited snap count. So Pittman has beat this in 4 of 7 games. He's been playing 91% of the snaps for the team, and the Titans are giving up the 5th most yards to opposing wide receivers. And that is even with that terrible game versus Kansas City. So it's a very, very good matchup.
And then you were looking at some touchdowns for 2 players that are at the tight end spot, Tyler Higbee and Mo Alley-Cox. I love it.
Yeah, so we got to throw a couple plus money in here, right? Because, you know, we gave you some kind of fairly safe bets. Now we got to get some that are going to make you a little bit of cash. So Tyler Higbee, anytime touchdown, plus 185. The Texans have become almost like the Arizona Cardinals were in 2019. If you remember that, it was like auto start, whatever tight end is facing the Cardinals. That's sort of become the Texans this year. They just give up touchdowns to tight ends. I believe it's already been 6 in just 7 games played. So go for it. Tyler Higbee, anytime touchdown, plus 185. We all expect the Rams to be dominant today. And then finally, Mo Alley-Cox, plus 260. Again, he doesn't see a whole lot of targets, but he seems to be Carson Wentz's favorite red zone target. And that's what we're playing for here. Again, I think Pittman will have a good day, but in reality, Mo Alley-Cox gets the bulk of the red zone targets more than Michael Pittman.
All right, and then we also have a Fabiano boost of the day. It's a parlay for 2 running backs that you had in your Stardom Situm article. KHALIL Herbert and Eli Mitchell, if they both get into the end zone, SI Sportsbook boosted this parlay from plus 450 all the way up to plus 500. That's a big payday. Piacenti, your player prop parlay hit on Thursday Night Football when Randall Cobb and Aaron Jones both scored a touchdown. That paid out plus 600, I think, right?
I think it should have played plus 1,300 since they both got in there twice.
Yes, exactly. But Fabiano, we got KHALIL Herbert and Eli Mitchell boosted from plus 450 all the way up to plus 500 as a sportsbook. You can check out that prop on sisportsbook.com. Fabs, it's kind of cool that the sportsbook boosts whoever you like in your Stardom Situm article.
Yeah, I know. And we had a winner a couple of weeks ago, right? With that same boost. So hopefully people go out and check that out at SI Sportsbook.
All right, a couple more questions from today. And by the way, Jen has been, I should have said this before when she was doing her player props, 69% winning percentage this year. Absolutely incredible. You can check out all of her game picks by going to si.com/betting.
She's money. She's the fantasy unicorn.
She does absolutely incredible, making a lot of people money this year with all of her bets. And we'll review all the action on SI Winners Club tonight on Twitter. That's at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Some other questions from our friends on Twitter. Cole Beasley or Marquez Callaway. Good matchup against the Saints today. Jen, what do you think?
I'm going to go Cole Beasley here. I know Marquez Callaway is the #1 guy, but I'm just really disappointed in the way Jameis Winston has been playing in the whole New Orleans state. So I'm going to go with Beasley and think he's going to give you a safer floor. Could Callaway go off and have a big day? Sure. But it kind of looks like maybe Alvin Kamara is going back to Alvin Kamara and is going to be more of a receiver there. So I don't think Callaway is the #1 guy for real anymore. So I'm going Beasley.
All right, that was Jennifer helping out Jennifer. Now let's help out Ian, who wants to know what quarterback to start. Fabs, he has Matt Ryan, Teddy Bridgewater. Which one are you starting? Ryan, he obviously is a little bit second-guessing himself now that Calvin Ridley is out.
Yeah, I'd probably still go with Matt Ryan. I do like the matchup with Bridgewater, but Ryan did drop a couple of spots. I moved Ryan Tannehill ahead of him, but I'd still go Ryan there. It's close.
All right, we have a question from Jason on YouTube. Darrell Williams or Emmanuel Sanders in a PPR format? Jen, which one do you like?
In a PPR, I'll go Sanders because Josh Allen has him on his fantasy football team.
See, that's only the inside info that you get from SI. Nobody else has this inside info, folks.
All right, let's we'll be back tonight at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time previewing the Cowboys and Vikings game. We don't think Dak Prescott is going to play tonight. We saw the line change from The Cowboys -3 to now the Vikings plus -3. So a 6-point swing there. Then we have the Chiefs and the Giants tomorrow night. I interviewed Eli Manning this week. He's doing the Manning cast for Monday Night Football. Hopefully he drops some more Wedding Crasher references because we all love those. But again, we're going to help you with your bets for Sunday night and Monday Night Football live on Sports Illustrated's Twitter at SI Now. That's 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for round 2 of the Winners Club on Halloween. Jen, let me ask you, favorite Halloween candy? What do you got?
Wow, there's so many. I think I'm going to go Snickers minis, but definitely not like the bite-sized Snickers. It has to be actually like a mini candy bar. And I also just want to say for a minute, like to those parents when I was a kid that would hand out boxes of raisins, there should be penalty flags. Like, it is not cool. Do not do that to kids.
That's why kids started egging houses.
I'm telling you, I'm still mad about the raisins. I don't want sun-kissed. Don't do it.
Fabs, what's your favorite candy?
There's so many. I think I've eaten all of them in like the last week. It's not good. But I'm big. I love Charleston Chews, man. Like the one with the vanilla nougat and then 100 grand bars. That's an underrated bar. You got chocolate, Rice Krispies, and caramel. That's a home run right there.
I'm trying to teach my son about taxes. He's 5. So I said the dad tax, every 2 pieces of candy he gets, I get 1. He did not understand that concept, but I do plan on just rating his, whatever he goes out.
I think you're going to get a lot of
pillowcase
tonight.
I used to bring a pillowcase. I think he has like some kind of
juice. You got to lay a little juice for dad there.
A little dad tax juice, and then I also plan on doing the Jimmy Kimmel your parents ate your candy thing to him tomorrow. So I'll have some fun with him on that. I wanted to get this helmet on, but my fat head is too big. This is as far as I can get it down.
Yeah, that's not working.
Just in case anybody's
the chin strap, I can't even get the chin strap on.
That's not good.
Just in case anybody wondered, this is an NFC East live stream.
How about them Cowboys?
Giants, baby, Giants. It's stuck. All right.
Not happening.
We had a fun Halloween. I'm glad I got to spend.
Will you get a full-size Giants helmet? Will you please? I have one back there, but I'm not that close to you.
I have one, but it's autographed, and I don't take it out of its case.
Fancy. Okay.
Will you guys get a lot of trick-or-treaters tonight?
I think so. Yeah. I mean, have you seen the front of my house?
No.
I got a graveyard out there, man. Like the kids are definitely going to be coming for that.
Oh, you got to tweet out that picture, Fab.
It's awesome. I saw it.
Do that.
It's phenomenal. Like it's, and then I said to Fabs, I'm like, you're really getting the holiday spirit. And he said, wait for Christmas. So I'm now excited about
That's my favorite holiday.
I'm just going to put a bowl of candy outside because I can't get interrupted.
Yeah, but then you get like rotten kids who just take the whole thing and then you got nothing.
That's fine. That's
all right.
Then they will get the treats. Everyone else will get the trick. But I can't be bothered. I'm going to be watching football all day. I can't be getting up and down and answer trick or treat. Here you go.
Do they come during the day? That's a trick or treat at night. That's just wrong.
It's very weird. The cops put out the cops put out a time that you can go trick or treating. Have you guys ever heard of that?
No.
Yeah. Well, my town, it's like
wow.
I'm not trying to make a political statement here, but I thought that was a little over aggressive by the police in this fine town in the tri-state area.
I think so too. Wow. I don't think there should be parameters for trick or treating, but okay.
I don't either. I mean, I might have to.
Maybe it's a trick.
I might have to start a petition on that.
By the way, I don't think I get this helmet off now.
He's gonna be stuck in that all day.
Right? Now I know why Peyton Manning has like that big red thing on his head when he used to play. Like, look at this. Oh, look at that.
That's great.
Oh man.
All right.
Wait. Omaha.
There you go.
Omaha.
Fabs, last minute words of advice for everyone out there in week 8.
Go Cowboys. Make sure you play it safe with Dak. Yeah, you have to, folks. I mean, if you could get Carson Wentz or Teddy Bridgewater or a quarterback who's got a good matchup, you got to play it safe. He may still play Dak, but if I read the tea leaves, I'm guessing no. So structure your lineup as if Dak Prescott will not be playing tonight, unfortunately, against Minnesota.
Jen, what do you got?
I got, don't eat the Smarties. You don't have to eat them. If somebody puts it in your basket, don't eat them. You don't feel obligated. And, you know, also, if you feel uncomfortable about starting somebody today, don't start them. I think too often do we not talk about just follow your gut feeling. You know, if you're asking us something, but you have a strong gut feeling, go with your gut feeling. It's your team. Have fun. And hopefully it won't be a trick and it'll be a treat.
I think Enright's gut's going to be full of Skittles tonight.
Ooh, nice. Thanks for watching SI Winners Club. We'll be back on Twitter 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Best of luck to you in Week 8, and I hope you win all your bets.